Hey there everybody, Ariix from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video I'm going to talk to you about this Puritii water bottle and filter system from the company Ariix. Now I did buy this with my own money, but EJ Snyder has teamed up with the people at Ariix to try to provide his viewers with one of the best filter systems possible. And that's what I have here today. Now if you're not familiar with EJ Snyder, he's a 25-year Army combat veteran. He's been on Naked and Afraid 4 times, dual survival, and first man out. So EJ Snyder definitely has some experience. Now, this particular filter is a water bottle system, but the actual filter capability does go beyond many other filter types. Now, for me, that's a big deal. Where I'm into the outdoors, the hiking, camping, and backpacking genre, I do rely on filters literally continuously. Now, typically I am doing some sort of a gravity filter, a squeeze filter, and even sometimes a pump. This is my very first time using a water bottle system, and I am very curious to see how it will perform for me. Now at this point, I have a bunch to show you, and if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now EJ Snyder, being a survival expert and military veteran, he tests his gear for 6 full months before he's even willing to endorse it. And that's exactly what he's done with the Puritii water bottle filter system. And so that's why we're bringing it to you today, because it is a system that's tried and true.
EJ Snyder here. You probably see me running around on Discovery Channel 4 times on Naked and Afraid, dual survival, and first man out. I'm a 25-year Army combat vet, extreme survivalist, and adventurer. And there's one thing I've learned in life through my soldiering, fitness, and just everyday life. Water is life's blood. And you have to have the best in your system if you want your body to function properly. You want to be healthy? Get the Puritii. That's why I back 100% the Puritii water bottle filtration system. This is the best, freshest water you can get on the planet, even if you get it out of there. When I'm drinking this water out of this bottle from my faucet, I know what it's doing. It's getting rid of the nasties, the chemicals, and anything the government wants to put in it. If you're at the gym, fill your bottle up with this. If you're out in the wild and you got to survive, or just on a camping or hunting trip, knowing that you can have pure water anytime you want is amazing. Water is life's blood, folks, and that's why I back this system. It's proven, it's been tested. You won't find another system on the planet as good as this one. You know, this has got quadruple analogs. That's all those 9s they put after the dot. 99 point whatever. You won't get any higher than this. These filters are amazing. It keeps over 1,600 water bottles from going back into the ecosystem and, you know, polluting the area. So, man, you get one of these, you're saving yourself money. Probably over $650 in water bottles. So, one system, one filter. It's amazing. Check it out. That's why I back it. It's 100% Puritii for me in any situation, whether it be in the gym, in the house, or out here. Get you a Puritii. Get it today. Let's drink up. Water. So good.
And so now that you've heard from EJ himself, let's get into the review. Alright, so this Puritii water bottle is going to mean a little bit different for everybody, but let's just take my personal family scenario into account. Now, my wife is just a little nervous of the water that comes out of our tap. Shouldn't be a problem, however, she is always just a little concerned. Now, we have fairly good water, all things considered, but, I mean, now granted, you're pretty much only seeing bubbles. You really don't necessarily know exactly what's going on there. You hope that the community where you get your water is keeping you safe, but again, you never really know. So because my wife is just a little bit nervous, we invest heavy money into one of these. So here I have a cooler. We pay for water services, and every single time we need new water, well, a new bottle. And we go through these like crazy. And when I say like crazy, I mean, yeah, like crazy. And not only do we go through these bottles like crazy, but we also waste a ton of it like crazy. Every single turn of the corner here, I find myself another cup just with not consumed water that we spent huge money to buy. And as you look, literally every turn of the corner, my kids just pour this stuff like it's free, then they waste it. And this just goes down the drain. Now, even though this is gonna cost you some money up front, in reality, just filtering your tap water is going to save you a huge amount if you're anything like me. So very simple, just filling the water bottle, slipping on the cap, and now I am good to go with quality filtered water. Basically, no different than I was spending huge money to buy all those jugs and pour it down the drain. So here, popping the top, it's just a push button right on the front, has a spring in the back. It's actually spring loaded, as you can see. And then this tab here to open up the spout. So simple, convenient. Now, the very first time that I used this, a little bit of the charcoal did come out of it. If you read the instructions, they say that's perfectly normal. But other than that, now filtered water. So if you're in the same situation as me, and you're either concerned with your tap water or you just want to freshen it up a little bit, this is certainly a good way to go. Now, overall, the bottle's construction seems fairly stout. So pretty much I don't think you're going to have too much in the way of problems. The only place I could see you being a little bit susceptible to danger would be with this top. But if you use good methods and you're just careful and you're methodical, every time you finish, you just close it, you're really not going to have a problem. It does have this ability to put some sort of a clip or a carabiner, lash it to a pack, something like that. So for me, this is something I think would work very well in my backpack as I go on some backpacking excursions. Now I'm here at this gorgeous river, chilling out after a day of pretty hard hiking. About 15 miles and a nice, beautiful peak. Nice day, beautiful weather, but now I'm tired. I just want to chill out, and the last thing I want to do is get into filtering water. Now for me, filtering my water is fairly straightforward, but at the same time, I have this Puritii water bottle. I'm curious how this will perform. So pulling the cap and filter assembly aside, basically I'm just planning on filling up the water bottle here. Water's coming through here very nicely, and careful not to cross-contaminate at this point. Just getting this set into place and threaded down. So now just a pop top and the mouthpiece coming open. No problem, nothing to it. Very simple to set this up, and a nice big filter, which means you should get a pretty good draw. Which that works fairly well. You do feel that obviously you're pulling through a filter, but at the same time, pretty solid. Now, I've never used one of these before, so it's my very first time. I see it being really a convenience for backpacking and something like this. It just depends on the destination and what you're trying to achieve. For me today, I didn't care about really weight too much, so having one of these with me is just a nice convenient way to allow me to get some water without having to do a big filtering batch with the river water. So one thing I can tell you for sure, just while I've been hanging out at camp, because of how convenient this is, easy to fill, and you just drink right off of it, I have definitely had way more water on this trip than I've probably had on any other trip. I mean, I've had 4 or 5 of these now, just sitting here, hydrating, sucking it down, getting ready for hike back out. You know, great time here in the mountains, just enjoying it, but this Puritii water system, it's been great. You know, I like it. I think it has its place. You need to decide if you're willing to carry it, especially for this application. But where I had a flat hike into camp, it made a lot of sense. So to have actually a system that would allow you to even double filter if you felt like you needed it, run you know, an initial pass to clean up the water with another filter system and then put it through here, you'd be in good shape. Now I am a little concerned with my ability to backwash this. I'm going to try to see if I can. I don't know if they even suggest doing it because of the carbon in there, but if you could backwash this, that would be pretty sweet to help you prolong the life. But overall, pretty clean water here. I mean, when you really look at the quality of the water, it's not like I'm taking too much like scuzzy stuff into this, so I don't think I'm gonna have any problem. It's not gritty, it's not silty, so the water quality just to begin with is very, very good. So overall, this Puritii system, it's been great. Now, if there is one word of caution, it's this. Well, so the point is, how do you prevent this from spilling? Like when I tip this upside down, what is it that prevents the water from spilling out the top? Because don't forget, even though this water is nice and clear, theoretically it is potentially contaminated. It needs to go directly through the filter before it touches your mouth. So what is it that keeps the water from coming out the top when you tip it upside down? Well, as we look here at the top and we open the spout, inside here, you'll see a small hole, and then on the spout itself, there is a nub. So this little nub right here goes into that hole when it closes. And as you look here, you're not going to really see it, but you can imagine that is what, as you put that down, keeps the water from coming out. But what happens when this is open? As you look right now, the actual underside of the straw is dry. But if I tip this upside down, well, unfortunately, what happens is the water can leak out. So what that means is if you're not careful and you're not methodical, you can end up with cross-contamination. So let's say, for example, you had this water bottle filled up with a potentially contaminated source. You have the cap open, you have the spout open. You put it on the ground. Oops, something happens and it tips over and you go to pick it up. Well, as soon as you do that, you have now cross-contaminated. You have a potential contamination source. So you need to be extremely careful. Now, I'm not familiar enough with these water bottles to know if there would be a potential other design that could be used to avoid that. However, with this particular system, you do need to be cognizant of that. So my advice is every time you use this, if you think that water may be potentially contaminated, you need to close the spout and you need to close the top, and you just need to do it diligently every single time. So being methodical will pay off. So what I'm doing here is leaving everything nice and open. Because this has the ability to hang it, I've basically just added a little clip. I clip everything together, leave this all open, let it air dry, and once it's dry, then you can store it. But I try not to let my filters really stay contained. I want them to air dry and really not get any like mold or mildew or anything building up. I basically like to let them completely air dry. That's exactly what you see here now. So alright guys, there you have it, a look at this Puritii water bottle and filter system from the company Ariix. Again, I'd like to say thank you very much to EJ Snyder, who has teamed up with me for this particular review. Kind of working with him, trying to get the word out there and really spread the news to some of my viewers and subscribers to take a look at this product. Again, not just great for the everyday purpose, certainly for the bulk of my viewers, probably a great product for every day, whether you have water that's maybe a little bit questionable, maybe you just want to freshen it up a little bit, take some of the minerals out of it and the things that might add a little bit of hardness. Now, sometimes it's good for you, other times it's hard to say, so just having a filter and something that's going to help keep you safe, definitely a plus. Now again, for me, the outdoor hiking, camping, and backpacking genre, this worked extremely well. This is the type of thing that I know for me and my family dynamic would definitely come into play. Now again, it adds a little bit of bulk, but depending where you go, it can be very convenient. As I mentioned, on my particular trip, I drank way more water on that trip than I ever had before, and that's because of how convenient this is. So it does work. Very simple, very easy to use. Now, all in all, I do like this. I think it's a great product. You do need to be careful. I think with any filter system, you need to be very careful on how you handle it and how you manage it. Cross-contamination is always a reality. So just being careful, being cognizant, and being methodical, definitely a plus. But as I mentioned, I greatly enjoy this, and I will definitely continue to use this out into the future. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.